Good evening and welcome to the Whaler Guys. It's Peter and Jerry, the Whaler Guys. You guys are the brigade, and here we are at 2028 Sargent Street in Hartford. Another cold night. I know you like this nonsense.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's hockey season though.
Yeah.
That's my only reassurance.
Yes.
Other than that, don't touch me.
Yeah.
So, exciting week. UConn is out in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, they'll be playing.
We're going to catch up that at the end of the show.
Yeah.
With how UConn's progressing and not progressing. We went over that the other night when we went to the game.
Yeah.
Big news out of Long Island. Or not really, it's Brooklyn now.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn, right?
They wish they were back in Long Island.
I bet you they do. Yeah, strange, out of the blue kind of. And I think you and I we know a little bit about this from this perspective that Hartford's in, because the ice sheet in the NHL is a big deal. I mean, the NHL they're more concerned about that than they are the seating in the arena, because the whole point is they never want to have a situation where they have to cancel a game somewhere and find another arena because the ice is not properly functioning. Now, apparently, that's the issue with the Barclays, and I guess Chris Bottle from the NHL tweeted out about PVC piping underneath the Barclay Center, which is inadequate for the NHL arenas. All NHL arenas have steel piping, and we just found it funny and ironic.
Hold on, is it strange, funny, or coincidental?
It's all of those things. But you know what they'll say? I mean, isn't it true most police officers will tell you that there's no such thing as coincidences?
There is no such thing.
Yeah. Well, here's a coincidence for you. The XL Center, as you know, and we've been on this, over the last year and a half, they've been desperate to get the ice sheet done at the XL Center. Now, there's a million reasons for that. I mean, it's 42 years old. It's ancient. It's got guys putting their fingers on it when there's a leak. I mean, so it's well past its due. It's well within the means to have it done. It will be done by this time next year. It'll be done a month or two. So you're talking more coincidences, more coincidences. In 12 months, the XL Center will be completely ready for. It's really for Hockey East and the concerts and Disney on Ice and all that, but it will be comparable with an NHL arena, which is ironic again because here we are. The Islanders are 12 months away from exercising their out clause. Mm-hmm. Kind of lines up nice.
I think the good line to use is it will meet NHL minimum requirements for ice surfaces in the NHL.
Right, and
where apparently. Yeah. Barclays does not.
No, and how could that be? It's a brand new arena. How could there be PVC piping? Unless they just thought like, hey, we don't have to go the extra mile. But I guess apparently the Islanders said this is an issue, and I guess the Barclays, which I think is still being run by AAG, they said we're not going to update the arena floor because they don't want to lose their summers, because their summers they draw concerts, they draw. So they don't want to go dark. So you're talking about, if we're using the XL Center as an example, it's about $4 million to get the jackhammer the sheet out, get it out, and put the new pipes in. So that would be maybe $4 million for the Barclays, plus the loss of their concerts and sporting events, in the summer months, and they're not doing it. No. And that means that, I heard Don LaGreca, he's a guy who does a voice for the Rangers. He said, it's not the other teams complaining about the ice as much as the Islanders are complaining about the ice. It's rare to have a home team complain about their own ice.
Well, when you talk about coincidences, ironically speaking, okay, it's been all of last year, you heard fans of the Islanders complaining about obstructed views.
Right.
The lack of customer service that the Islanders are providing to the customers.
Right.
And now, all of a sudden, here comes another fold, which is a bad ice surface that the Islanders are complaining about. Again, now you have this a host of things that's wrong with the Barclay Center, besides the fact that it wasn't built for hockey. The scoreboard's off-center.
Yeah.
It's like fitting a tractor trailer into a bug. It ain't happening.
Yeah.
And, now you have the Coyotes who need a place to go next year because they haven't signed anything that I've seen. And the Islanders potentially could need a place to play because this doesn't meet the requirements.
Yeah.
Then I go back to the poor schmuck that checked off the list that this was okay. Is that done by the NHL? Is it done by Barclays? Who said it was okay and met minimum NHL requirements?
Yeah.
Go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
This is their second God-blessed year.
Yeah, I know.
All of a sudden you found a problem?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, all the issues with the XL Center, And they, the flooring was an issue in terms of trying to get the NHL. It was an issue for Hockey East too. But it's just ironic as heck that Islanders are having all this trouble, and they never even. I mean, nobody considered that. Like, hey, we only have PVC. I mean, it's the ice. I mean, it's a hockey team. I mean, how? It sounds a little fishy, and I know we're just speculating here. So understand that we're speculating. Yeah, we're speculating.
We are throwing all this together,
Yeah.
and you come up with the
hypothesis.
Yeah. The answer is they're leaving.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's ironic is Governor Malloy, when you had that lunch date.
Yeah. That was October.
He brought up the Islanders, watching the Islanders and see where they might go.
He said, I know he was the only team he mentioned, Governor Malloy mentioned the Islanders specifically, and that was roughly about 3 weeks ago, I think, or so. And I was surprised he mentioned that because I was thinking about the lease, and I know there's an out clause. But this is what you kind of do in the storyline. If you build a case and you say, well, we need to find a way out of this building. Well, let's find it. So they find the PVC piping. I wonder if they were thinking about the PVC piping because they know that the XL Center is getting new piping in.
And again, pure speculation if they're actually thinking about Hartford at all.
Yeah.
But all these things together, over the years when we've spoken about teams that we think might be moving or there might be a shuffle here and there, the first thing that comes out is bad press.
Yeah.
You have to start that paper trail to say why we are leaving or whoever the team is leaving. They're not just going to pack up overnight and leave.
Yeah.
For many years, it was Atlanta, the Thrashers, the attendance levels.
Right.
And where'd they go? Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And that was fast. But there was bad press throughout there.
Right.
The Coyotes have had the worst press, and it's the biggest black eye for the NHL. And it's no disrespect to the team. The problem is their non-relationship with Arizona, Glendale, and nobody else wants them there. The fans do.
Yeah.
And again, once again, just like Hartford, the fans did nothing wrong, but they're going to be punished because of all this happening.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the fans. Whatever team relocates, you always feel bad for the team or the fans because we felt that way when the Whalers left.
Oh yeah.
And someone said to me one time, are you going to be upset taking someone else's team? Hell no.
Yeah.
It did it to me, and you know what? I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take any team because you know what? If you don't support them and you don't want to work with people, come on over. We'll take you.
Yeah.
We will have a facility by next summer after fall that's ready for NHL hockey.
Yeah. Yep.
Now we have to get the investors on board, and whoever they are, start listening up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? All this stuff is coming together.
Yeah.
All right? If you're good at business, let's get this going.
Yeah. And we're not saying like that, Hartford's the only place they can possibly go because the Islanders are interested in a place near Citi Field. They're interested in a place near Belmont Park, but we're talking about building an arena from scratch. And if they're
2 to 3 years.
If they're bitching about the ice now, are they going to sit around for 2 or 3 years and deal with fans that don't want to buy tickets to a team that's building another arena further away than they already have to go?
This is like the yard goats.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit of yard. And I'll tell you, they had last year. Was the ice crappy last year? I didn't hear anybody complain about the Islander ice last year.
All of a sudden it became crappy.
Yeah, all of a sudden it became crappy. And I hope it melts. But that's just the Islanders could end up still staying somewhere on Long Island. Maybe they do get another facility or something like that. It's just another revolving piece, and we're a player in that. Hartford's a player. We haven't gotten anyone come to us and gone, hey, Whaler guys, shut up, it ain't happening. And I'm not talking about the idiots out there on social media. I'm talking about like a real, somebody up in Malloy's, echelon of, officers and guys, executive directors. No one's come to us, and we do talk to a lot of people, believe it or not. So don't think that we're just two guys. I mean, we are two schmucks on a TV show, but some people actually will talk to us. So until we get that call,
and actually call us, or email us.
Yeah, I mean, we're pestering people. No one's pestering us.
Oh no, they get back to us.
They get back to us, but they're not pestering us.
No, they're not.
But bottom line is they're not telling us you guys need to pump the brakes on this NHL thing. We're just doing Hockey East. But so Hartford is still a player. We talked to the governor 3 weeks ago. He said he's still a player, even if he gets a job with Hillary, which is that's the other thing we got to worry about.
Bringing politics up.
No, we're not bringing politics up. But if Hillary Clinton wins, Malloy could get a job in the federal government, and would that crush us? Would we then be back to square one, or does he have like plans in place for if he does leave? So there's a couple of things coming up, and that's what I'm saying. That's why it's funny. We talk Wolfpack, we talk UConn, and we talk Whalers, but as far as getting the NHL back to Hartford, there's always this bubble hanging around us that's like, well, there's still possibility.
And we've talked about it. After April 13th, if there's not much movement, we have to think about moving on to Connecticut hockey and talk a hockey show, because after 20 years, don't get me wrong, I want the Whalers back probably worse than anyone else in the state.
Yeah.
But there comes a time where we have to say, without the investment group, without a governor who's going to push. And as much as I always bring this up, and I have to do the caveat that, he was indicted and he was ready to go off to jail, but Perez won his appeal.
Yeah.
He was the one that traveled with Gottesdiener. Now we know where Gottesdiener is. The property market failed, and he's nowhere to be found. But he went out to Minnesota when the Wild came back into the league. And Minnesota, we're comparing apples to oranges, because really Minnesota is a great hockey state. And they deserve a hockey club.
Oh, yeah.
We deserve one too, but Minnesota they had the North Stars for many
there was
years.
no reason why they shouldn't have a team.
Just like Quebec, just like Winnipeg and Hartford. Put everyone back where they belong, and everything will be all right. Why don't people just listen to us? Really?
I know.
We could run this.
We already got this figured out. I mean,
Right.
So and that's the thing. The Islanders, who knows? Maybe they could end up in Quebec. I mean, so it just puts it in uncertainty.
No, that dollar's still bad.
Yeah, it is still bad.
Thank
it's still bad.
Yeah.
But it is. We have to
remember the AHL team's moving. Binghamton's moving out to
I know, that's another
Canada.
Coincidence that Binghamton is supposed to get an AHL team. The only two teams that would make sense would be the Devils or the Rangers. We say that only because we know the Rangers' contract comes up, and the Devils just seem like they've always wanted to move. I mean, it could be a Utica, it could be a Rochester, somebody like that. I don't know.
Portable, like
but,
we talked about. AHL teams
right.
are very portable and movable. They're not signing long-term commitments.
Right.
So Hartford being in their last year of their commitment, but they have that. They have
an option if they want it for next year.
They could go one more year.
They could.
They could, but
or they could head for the hills.
Or they're traveling north.
Yeah, and you know what would be interesting is if the Rangers do leave here, if the Hartford Wolfpack does move to Binghamton, you wonder, did they want to, or were they told, pack your bags, because
the lease, if an NHL team is coming in, they are going to leave.
Yeah, and that would be interesting to know that. Yeah.
Well, if they were to exercise their lease, maybe the state would have to pay them out, because remember they have an option, and if they were going to stick around for another year, the state might have to buy them out in order for an NHL club to come in here.
Yeah, it could be.
The NHL told them.
Right. Yeah. Hit the bricks.
Yeah.
Get the stepping. So, but I doubt that the NHL. I doubt the AHL will leave Hartford and leave it vacant. I think it's too good a market for the AHL to pass up.
Well, no, not only that, but we've talked about the contractual issue, which is if the Rangers were to leave Hartford, they have to replace the AHL team with another AHL team as per the contract. And that's an AHL contract, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a Hartford thing. I think that's an AHL thing.
And you have to think about, imagine that. Here we go again. So the Islanders, their AHL team's in Bridgeport. And imagine if they did up in Hartford. They don't have to move their AHL team.
Right.
It's right down 91, 34, 40 miles or whatever.
So, it's very interesting. Again, only speculating, just throwing the stuff out there.
Yeah.
The information we've received, everyone that we've recently spoken to with the state has been really, really hush. We have not gotten a lot of feedback coming back our way, which it kind of bothers me a bit because we do have an open relationship with a lot of people, and for them not to return phone calls or return emails, kind of, you heard me, I was kind of pissed off about it. And, I don't like when people don't get back to me or email me back. I realize they do have lives outside of where I talk.
But within 72 hours is reasonable. It's like, hey,
don't brush me off.
Just tell me, like,
you'll be on the list.
Yeah. And you weren't. I mean, it's not like you asked them something pressing or anything.
No, not at all.
Touch it. But that's our thing. It's funny because I think some people realize, like, hey, they know what they're doing, and I think some people look at us like, those guys are idiots. But, you know, the bottom line is we probably do know more about this hockey market and the inner workings of what's going on than I think anyone else that we've ever
We're
encountered.
not out to
you
kiss
know?
ass. Listen,
No.
just tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
I ask you a question, you
Yeah.
give me an answer.
Right.
Okay? If you can't give me an answer, well, give me a BS answer that makes me feel better.
So we
okay?
can come on here and ridicule you about it.
Exactly.
Because like we said, we're doing this because, you know, 5 years ago we said, you know, no one ever talks about the hockey in Hartford and all that, you know, it's got this history and all this stuff. So we started doing it, and, you know, it's worked out well. We can actually deliver some news to you guys, and this market is starving for it, and the media doesn't even realize it. So, you know, it's good that we're able to do that. Yeah.
UConn in a conflict.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Yeah.
Working like a charm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but I mean, we'll have to see how this develops. Again, it's another long year wait to see what's going on.
You know what? Listen, we're not losing money anywhere.
No.
You know, the Wolfpack's getting better crowds. We talked about that the last show with a great crowd for the opening night, which was 69-71.
Yep.
That's great for an opening night. They ended up beating those communist Canadian teams.
Yep.
The Ice Caps, 6-3.
Yeah.
Then they had a little rough night the next night over in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton.
Yeah.
And you know, how'd they end up? They lost the other night.
Yeah,
to the
they
Ice
lost
Caps 5-2.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, they lost on Sunday.
I don't know what the crowd was at.
I think it was around 2,700.
Okay.
So, which, you know, that's about what you get for a Sunday against the NFL.
It's football.
And it's football.
Yep.
You know, but NFL attendance is down 20% too. So, I'm not attendance, viewership.
Viewership.
So
People said it was because of the Kaepernick thing.
I don't know
it's
if
not
it
due
is.
to
I
that.
don't know
Give
if
me a
that
break.
maybe the domestic violence issues that they're going
Well,
through
you know,
right now.
I will say,
Yeah.
and I'm going to give the NHL a lot of props here, because whatever you hear, and I use the word hear because you don't hear a lot of bad stuff coming out of the NHL.
No.
Ever.
No.
And when you do, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what? Violated, you know,
Yeah, whatever.
personal conduct.
Yeah, agreement, gone.
Or suspended or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't drag on like inflatable footballs or deflated footballs.
Yeah.
Domestic violence. Josh Brown from the he should be just jailed.
Yeah.
You know, and the NFL looks so stupid
Yeah.
because they hire these security people that allegedly can get all kinds of stuff, and they can't get anything. And now that they're able to get the paperwork and all the other stuff, they have found how bad Josh Brown was to his wife.
Yeah.
And it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Ray Rice thing was bad enough they screwed up.
Yeah. But they
And
still have an issue. Yep.
They still have an issue because they're going to let him play.
Yeah.
You should be banned forever.
Yeah.
You know, domestic violence, sex assault, anything like that, out. You have no right to wear a uniform of any team that represents the NFL or NHL or any professional sports.
Yep.
You know what? People pay a lot of money to go see these sports, and you know what? If I'm paying for this guy to go beat his wife when he's off, get out.
Yeah.
And then send him to jail.
And the NHL's pretty good about that. There's not a lot of these controversial, you know, issues with the, you know, I can't even think the last time a player got, and most of the time it's on ice stuff where the guy hit the guy harder than he should have, but there's no off ice stuff. There's, you know, you don't see a lot of that with the NHL, and I think it's because they do a good job of handling their issues when they come about.
I think they educate their players. We met the security guy from the Chicago Blackhawks on our trip down to Long Island a couple years ago, and it seems like they have people in place to check their behavior.
Yeah.
And, you know, back years ago, you always heard about hockey players and drinking and this and that.
Yeah.
And we had the whole thing in Hartford when several players were arrested up in Buffalo for underage drinking. That whole fiasco. You don't even hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't hear about bad behavior. And yes, I think they keep a net around it, but I think they're educating players. Plus, hockey has turned into such a fast sport that they actually care about their bodies these days. And I'm not saying it was a whole different, 20 years ago it was a whole different hockey. It was old-time hockey.
Right.
Now you're dealing with fast, very agile players that actually have to watch what they eat, and they're not drinking and smoking out there, or doing drugs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they have their tests that they do for PEDs and for illegal substances, but you don't hear too much about it.
Right.
You know, the 80s were always big, so you heard about cocaine here and there with some really high-profile players that could actually afford it.
Yeah.
Because now they have great big contracts, but you don't hear about drug use in the NHL.
Right,
Every
right.
once in a while you'll hear something, and it's more of a rumor than an actual factual
Yeah, or
thing.
some kind of pill addiction or something like that. But most of the stuff is, the gruesome stuff that happens in the NHL happens on the ice with guys using a stick and, concussions
are the biggest thing.
Or, bad hits. The guy hit the ref. I can't remember his name, but the guy hit the
Dennis
ref.
Weidman.
Yeah. He
Loved
should be
him
gone.
as a defenseman.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? What he did should have been suspension from the game.
Yeah,
It was just wrong.
Yeah. So that's part of the thing that I think the NFL is top dog, and they still are in terms of comparing it to viewership with other leagues. But at the same time, it's like when after a while people get fed up with that. It's almost like the NDL, the National Drama League.
Right. Yeah.
And people just want to watch the game. So
I think the biggest thing that has to happen with the NFL is Goodell has to remove himself from the sanctioning body.
Yeah.
So when a sanction comes down, he has nothing to do with it. Gary Bettman has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So
they
you know
have
what?
a president
He's the
that does-
figurehead.
yeah.
He's going to speak for the league
Right.
on behalf of the Board of Governors, and you don't hear him commenting too much on the
Right,
player
right.
discipline.
Yeah.
If Goodell just got his fat head out of there and let the personal the players deal with the sanctions,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be a problem.
No, that's a good
he
point.
has to have his fingers in everything.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's a micromanager.
Yeah.
Stay the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You know what? Good. You were a lawyer in your past.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
go over here and be the figurehead.
That's a good point because the NHL does have it. And, Brendan Shanahan was, I don't know if you call it the president of discipline
He
or
was a
whatever.
discipline, yeah.
But I mean, they have a special position that is just for looking at it, and then that guy makes the decision. This way, no one can go to Bettman and complain.
Right.
You got to
He
go
has
through the proper
employees in
channels.
place.
Right.
And you could like or dislike Bettman, but he does have things in order when it comes to the discipline and the sanctions.
Yeah.
He's well out of the way.
Yeah.
It's the plausible deniability.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah,
or I
yeah.
knew about it. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with him. Yeah, I have him in this position.
It's true. And as much as I'm not a big fan of Gary Bettman, but
I'm not
everyone,
either.
people I see out there saying, on the social media, oh, Gary Bettman hates Hartford. He doesn't hate Hartford. Now, he did help get the Whalers out of here, but that's because 30 teams told him to do that. He works for them.
And
so,
Peter Carmanos was an owner.
right, who wanted out.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was part of that body.
Yeah, so he's working,
So
Bettman
what
was
can you
working
do?
for him.
We can
Now-
get an owner now
right.
and get a team.
Yeah, and if there is a team that wants to move to Hartford, Gary Bettman's going to be on that side because that's what the league wants. So, I wouldn't say he's. I don't want to exactly put him up on a pedestal,
Oh, hell no.
but I don't think he's anti-Hartford. I really
No,
don't.
I don't either. And
Yeah.
what's more disturbing is we have media people that still say to this day,
Yeah,
as long as Gary Bettman's there, Hartford will never get a team.
yeah,
And they still believe that.
Right.
And that's, don't get me wrong, everyone has their personal opinions. I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be the collaborative group of Board of Governors, and Gary Bettman's going to say, okay, fine, let's do our research. And they have done their research.
right.
And Hartford's done their research.
Yeah.
Because SCI did their research on
Yeah.
all that money
And they're
that's sitting
still
out
doing
there.
their research.
Yes,
so,
they are.
someone's paying the bill for SCI, and that is a major NHL. I mean, they did Madison Square Garden. They did the total renovation of that, and now
While it
they're
was open.
Yeah, while it
Yes.
was open, which is ironic again, because the XL Center would have to be open while it gets this 3-year renovation and building a second concourse and that. So for the NHL to tie up a vendor that they use for Madison Square Garden, so it's not like some schmo vendor. It's a good vendor for them, and they're tied up here in Hartford. There's no reason really to do that unless it's a potential relocation site.
And again,
yeah.
we're just speculating, so, don't send us
Don't
messages.
take it to the bank,
You're right,
but-
not yet. We'll tell
Yeah.
you when this
Yeah.
is back. And don't get me wrong, we'll be
Yeah.
hitting it hard.
And when I mean take it to the bank, like we're going to pay up or we're going to win. So,
Right, yeah.
at someday we'll have a show and we'll say, hey, at least it's over for now, or we'll say, hey, things are still
It would
progressing.
be really good
Yeah.
if we ever were able to get the information ahead of all the media out there, to have Greg Gilmartin come on here and say, ladies and gentlemen, here are your Hartford Whalers.
again.
Again.
Again. That would be something.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know how far away we are, but
Yeah.
but anyway, so we've been speculating. Let's talk about some on-ice stuff. We went to go see UConn. Was that Friday night?
Yep.
They played at AIC.
Yep.
Actually Institute College or International College? There we go. American
Yeah,
International
AIC,
College. Yeah.
sure.
Anyway, so they're actually a pretty good hockey team. They've been fair. I mean, they usually end up under 500 a lot, but they're not. They weren't going to get blown out 7-1. However, saying that is,
Don't
UConn
get me going.
absolutely should have won that game. UConn outshot them 2-1. I think it was 35-17.
It was 17
shots for
4.
Yeah.
End of the first period.
Yeah.
It was 45-21 at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
And they took, this irritates the snot out of me. They took 6 lousy penalties.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that little fat referee, that guy I told you about, you remember I told
Yeah.
you? He needs to put his whistle away.
Yeah.
Because
Or
some
eat
of the
it.
stuff was stupid.
Yeah.
And then, but the other calls were dead on. They were stupid penalties, and I hate undisciplined play. And I hope during practice, Cav has gotten up there and crawled up their behinds, because let me tell you, I was so angry because it took them well out of the game. You said they should have won. I totally agree. They should have won at least 5-2.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And their freshman goalie, who was standing on his head,
Yeah.
just faced what? He let 2 goals in, so he faced 43 shots.
Yeah.
The guy he had number 1.
Yeah.
He was Mike Liut.
Yeah.
He looked like Mike Liut.
Yeah.
He played a great game.
Yeah, you know what? There's something going around with it's something in the water. Everyone's got a Swedish goaltender now.
Yep.
This guy Zachariah Skog, he stopped all. I mean, he played very well. Now, UConn
had no
their
choice.
Yeah, UConn had their opportunities, and as Jerry said, they rattled off like 6 penalties in the first 15 minutes of the game. 20 minutes a game. So, and then at the end, they got those 5 or 6 penalty power play opportunities back. They were 1 for 9 on the power play against AIC, and they ended up with a draw. I mean, kissing your sister.
It was horrible.
Yeah, but I've been struggling with this a little bit because I wrote about it in the blog, and I was like, gosh, they started off with the 2 shutouts against Alabama Huntsville. That was great. Then the 2 ties, and then they lost to Quinnipiac 5-2. We kind of expected that. I don't know if we thought 5-2.
Yeah.
We were hoping maybe they're a little more competitive. So they're 2-1-3 through the first 6 games. I think it's their best start of the 3 seasons. However, you could tell the potential's not there yet.
However,
they have more potential.
This Thursday and Friday, they're
Yeah.
in South Bend, Indiana, against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
who they lost to twice last year.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this is not a time to go into the hole.
No.
You better be ready, because
Yeah.
you better strap it on, because
Yeah.
you're going out to South Bend, Indiana, and
Yeah.
they don't fool around.
I mean, at least a split, a bottom
Hopefully
line.
a split.
Yeah, hopefully a split. Because you
But,
need to.
but
yeah,
looking at the
yep.
goals for, I talked to you the other day about
Yeah.
this. The goals for, I think the most goals for was 25.
Yeah.
And UConn's at 20.
Yeah,
So
which is
they're-
great. The offense is there.
Yeah, the offense is there, and they
yep.
haven't given up.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I think it was 15. They gave up 15
13
goals.
or 15.
Yeah.
And the 2 shutouts really helped.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
But you got to win those games. So, and this is where they should be padding their schedule. So that's kind of disconcerting a little bit. But you know what? When we see those games in November, and get down to the XL Center, see one of these
absolutely.
Hockey East games, because the crowd is so into it. The level of play
What was the attendance the other night? About
for
30?
UConn or
Yeah, UConn.
UConn, it was 3,500, I think.
Okay.
3,500, which is not, it's fantastic, but again, it's not a Hockey East team. It doesn't draw, but it tells you, every game they've had on a non-Hockey East opponent, they're at 3,000 or more. So the season ticket base is in that.
Oh, yeah.
And
we
it's a
talked
good
to
one.
We
Yeah.
talked to John, the season ticket holder. We
Yeah.
talked to in between periods.
Yeah.
He's from Weathersfield, loves UConn, bought the season tickets. He has a great time every time he comes.
yeah.
Wears his UConn colors,
Yeah,
wears his T-shirt.
yeah, the season ticket base
Yep.
is good. Another thing that helps out, with the potential of the NHL. You're talking about 3,000 for a team that is 10 games under 500 all the time. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's not typical Hartford,
But like you said, very passionate fan base, and
Yeah.
I enjoy going to those games. And you see the people that are there, and again, a different fan base, because you have the kids and the families at the Wolfpack. You have the corporate guys coming in after work with their suit and ties on, and maybe some guests that they have in from town. Just a whole different feeling,
Right.
And a lot more energy.
Right, right.
A lot more people in the building.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, as we wrap it up, like we said, UConn's playing Thursday and Friday
Right.
in South Bend, Indiana.
Yep.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll report back to you with any further information we receive
That's
on
right.
the Islanders
Yep.
or the XL Center, and see how that's progressing. Hopefully we can meet up with someone and give us some information about how the ice sheet construction is lining up for next summer, as well as what else might be going on with the XL Center.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks, we hope to get some more information. We'll see how it goes. But hey, hockey's here, and we got on ice and off ice things to talk about, so
And
it's great.
and it's approaching November. We're
Yep.
getting into the thick of it with
Yeah.
Hockey East, like you said.
Yeah,
So
that's
everyone
right.
get down to the XL Center and have a good time. Until next time, we are the Whaler guys. You guys are the Brigade. One nation under green. Have a good night.